In this video, we're going to talk about finding the limits for problems that have vertical and horizontal asymptotes. Just in case you have forgotten, a horizontal and vertical asymptote, you will identify them because they are these dotted dashed lines right now that you see on your screen in red. An asymptote is a line that the graph is going to approach but never cross or touch. So basically, if we take a look at the first part of this question, it says to find the limit as x approaches -3 from the right-hand side. That little plus is on the right-hand side of the number means from the right-hand side. So I need to find -3. -3 on the x-axis is that point right there. So what is happening as I get closer and closer to -3 from the right-hand side? As I approach -3 from the right-hand side, notice, here's where I'm coming. I'm going to keep going down, 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 down. Now that vertical asymptote, that red dashed line right here, is always going to be there all the way down. My graph is going to get really, really, really close to it, but it's never going to cross it or touch it. So right now, this graph is going to continue and continue and continue towards -infinity. So the limit as x approaches -3 from the right-hand side is -infinity. Let's take a look now at the next problem. It says find the limit as x approaches -infinity. So just in general, find the limit as x approaches -infinity. So remember, here is the x-axis. The x-axis runs left to right. Okay, so it's right here. And it says that I'm approaching -infinity. So what happens as my graph approaches -infinity? That means that I'm going to be following along this part of the graph right here that you see in blue. And my graph is going to continue and continue. Because of this horizontal asymptote right here, that tells me that my graph is going to get really, really, really close to it, but it's never going to touch it or cross it. So therefore, that means that the limit as x approaches -infinity is going to be +1. Moving on, let's go ahead and find the limit as x approaches +2. We have to find +2 on the graph. So here is +1, here is +2. Okay, so +2, notice what is happening here. We have to look at both the right side and the left side because there is no plus, there is no minus next to that number. Therefore, that means I have to look at the limit from both sides. So as I come from the right-hand side, right here, as I get closer and closer to 2, notice that my y value is getting closer and closer to -1. So as I move closer and closer to 2 from the right-hand side, my limit is -1. If I come from the left-hand side, the limit as I approach x is equal to 2 is also going to be -1. So right here, the limit from the right is -1, the limit from the left is -1. Therefore, the limit as x approaches 2 is defined as -1. Let's find the limit as x approaches -3, this time from the left-hand side, because that negative to the right of that number means that I'm coming from the left-hand side. So from the left-hand side, again, -3 was right here. Okay, there's an actual asymptote at -3. But the limit as x approaches -3 from the left, I'm going to catch on to this graph right here. And notice it's going to keep rising. And there is this vertical asymptote that's going to just keep going up and up. And so that's what's going to happen to the graph. It's going to continue moving up. It's going to get really close to that asymptote, but it's never going to touch it or cross it. Therefore, the limit as x approaches -3 from the left-hand side is going to be +infinity. Then the next part says to find the limit as x approaches +infinity. So here's my graph. I'm moving closer and closer and closer to +infinity. And notice my graph, there is a horizontal asymptote. Because of that horizontal asymptote at +1, then my graph is going to continue to get really, really, really close to it, but it's never going to touch it or cross it. Therefore, the limit as x approaches +infinity is also going to be equal to 1. Finally, the question says to find the limit as x approaches -3. So at x equals -3, notice that there is a vertical asymptote. If I come from the right, then my graph is going to get closer and closer to -infinity. If I come from the left, as I approach -3, my graph continues and continues towards +infinity. Those two are not meeting exactly at the same place. Therefore, we say that the limit as x approaches -3 does not exist. And that's easy to tell because they did have us take the limit from the right and the limit from the left. And these two answers did not match. And the minute those answers do not match, the limit in general at that point does not exist. Hope you found this video helpful. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more help with math so that you can say, yes, I can do math with confidence. Until next time, thanks for watching.